Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. I'm going to cut myself off there. Try again. Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. We're glad you're here. If you like this video, like the video. And subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, check out the podcast also below in the description. Share it with your friends.
Jim Harbaugh is returning to Michigan per Michigan alum Adam Schefter. Harbaugh called Michigan to inform the school that despite interviewing with the Vikings today, he will be returning to school for the 2022 season. Sources told ESPN Michigan was, in the words of one source, quote, elated to get Harbaugh's decision.
I'm back.
Which could be kind of passive-aggressive, right? Like, finally, not elated that Harbaugh – I wonder, is that elated that Jim is returning or elated that Jim told us finally what he's doing? Or it could be both, right? They don't want – nobody wants to replace their coach on February 2nd. Nobody. No. Especially Michigan, who just beat Ohio State this year.
Did have an incredible year. I mean, they were pretty awesome. I mean, that game – I would say that's one of the biggest games in definitely Michigan in the last couple decades. So, and Harbaugh, those were all his guys. Obviously, the program is at this point in time, you know, they've been through different coaches. He's a rare bird, man. We were doing a live stream a couple hours ago, and as someone that felt a week ago that he was a lock to be the Vegas coach, then the last couple of days, like, he's just going to end up in the NFL now. It hit me this morning, man, that, like, Jim ain't these other coaches. Jim's just a rare bird. He's just his own unique human being. Like, I would say the majority of coaches with his name recognition and his resume, once he went for feels like, I don't know if officially this was a second interview, but they'd already talked, right? And he was coming to meet in person. They would have felt like that guy, whoever that guy was, replaced Jim Harbaugh's name with, you know, Coach X with his resume, would have been the head coach of said team. But Jim, to me, just does not fall into that category of the ledger, because if you're just defining coaches, even his brother is just, while crazy, much more normal than Jim. So was this a little payback for last year, like kind of underestimating him, I guess you could say?
Yeah, or not being there to support him financially, and I think they would argue support's probably not the right word. He was definitely supported at Michigan. But
I would say turning on him a little bit, like acting like, bro, you're a year away from we're canning you if you go 7-5 this year.
Is it Jim that says no one's on scholarship? Was that his phrase from the NFL? Or am I imagining that? Well, regardless, he was not on scholarship, it turned out, either, right?
That was a Jed York phrase.
Oh, that was a Jed York phrase. Okay, so it was from that era, just the wrong person. Nobody even look. We've seen it time and time and time again. You see it with Scott Frost. Is not. I'm not saying Scott Frost is Jim Harbaugh, but no one's on scholarship, even at their own alma mater, after a certain period of time. And what he did this year was impressive. There's no doubt. I do wonder if I was thinking, if I wanted to go like big Jim conspiracy theory, like you said to me earlier. This is what I was trying to think about in the live stream. Harbaugh interviewing on signing day. I'm not sure I've ever heard of a coach interviewing for another job on signing day that they don't take, let alone just interviewing for a job on signing day.
That's what I'm saying, guys. A rare bird.
Unheard of. Well, here's a twist. Hey, guys, NFL wants me, Jim Harbaugh. Does it help or hurt recruiting at Michigan that their head coach, we think, probably could have had the Vikings job if he wanted it? I don't think it's bad for recruiting.
I've heard a couple people say, because I think a lot of recruiting analysts like, oh my God, it's going to throw. What would you say the number one thing is, especially at his program? I think every kid that signed over this day and previous, 2 months ago, but at the top 15 programs in the country, what is every single kid that gets a scholarship offer from Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, USC, Oregon? What are all of them telling their friends? I'm going to the league. I am going to be an NFL player. This is a stepping stone. Well, Jim's already coached in the NFL, and now it's pretty clear that NFL teams are interested in him again. I'm with you. I actually think it's a positive. Like, I'm an NFL guy, guys. Right? Like, you know that. Now you really know it. Like, they're sniffing around me again.
Well, here's the other thing. First of all, signing day is not what signing day once was. This signing day, you worked in college at Fresno State when there was one signing day and no portal, as you pointed out earlier. This is a different world. Harbaugh's class was signed, sealed, delivered by the time the sun rose on February 2nd at Zingerman's Deli. So, Ann Arbor reference. Been there once.
Good Sando?
Well, actually recommended to me by
Jim
Schefter.
Harbaugh? Oh.
Schefter.
What's got
there
even
at 7:45 a.m.
What'd you get?
Turkey Reuben, I think.
But even, guy, the signing period since Jim, remember, Jim has been part of this transition because I saw something go viral yesterday or a couple days ago when Brady retired. Remember, either Jim's first or second year, because this second signing day got added, within the last several years?
5 years ago.
So when Jim first got there 7 years ago in 14 or 15, do you remember his first signing day? Tom was there. It was either his first or second, but Tom made an appearance. And I think Jim got a lot of credit early on. It's like, God, he pivoted and adapted really fast. And
he also did all those satellite camps in like SEC country.
Yeah, the shirtless. Didn't they go to Rome? I'm pretty sure.
They went
overseas. So Jim, to me, pivoted quick, and then it kind of didn't work. But then it showed, this year it kind of all came to fruition of like they got NFL players everywhere. They played his style of football. I actually think they're making a lot of strides in the right way. And I don't think he's looking at it short term because most people that if you follow Ohio State, just college football people, they say, well, what do you think Jim was thinking watching his bowl game and then watching Ohio State, in the Rose Bowl? Like, Ohio State is going to be pretty unreal next year on offense, and Jim's losing his best
and they've upgraded the defensive coordinator too.
They've upgraded there, and Jim, both of his star defensive ends are gone. And last time I checked, 97 was a major reason that Michigan was good this year, right? Every single game you watched, he looked like what I think we thought Kayvon was supposed to be. He was like every game getting multiple sacks.
Yep.
He's going to be the number one overall player in the draft, more than likely. But I'll also say that's part of having a Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, a Michigan, right? You should be just replacing that guy. Ask Nick what that's like. So I wonder if Jim thought in the short term, like, is my team going to take a step back? Which they could, right? They could be an 8-4 team or 9-3 team next year.
They could. I mean, maybe sometimes this happens. Maybe it was as simple as the job wasn't right for him, and he knows. Like I asked you this. Now, I don't think that's what it was, but if we're just, sometimes the simple explanations we don't ever, address much. It could be that. I did wonder, and I said this to you: if he takes the Minnesota Vikings job, is he going to be there forever? And if not, what's his next job? Staying at Michigan and riding this thing out, the NFL, in all likelihood, will still be there for Jim Harbaugh at some point or another, given his NFL success, as long as this thing doesn't totally fall apart on him. Because one thing you would say, if you're going to work in college, I think, then you can certainly relate to players in the NFL, right? Not always, but if you're not all college guys can do it, but this college guy can do it, right? Because he's not a college guy. So I think he'll always the college will kind of keep him young, I guess is what I was trying to say. But not that guys can always relate. But I think if you're a recruit next time, because right now, like you talk to coaches today, you ask them what you've been doing the last month. They're like, well, 2023 recruiting class is really what we're working on. So when Jim Harbaugh picks up the phone tomorrow to call a 2023 kid, he goes, just so you know, I could have gone to the NFL, but I decided to stay right here at Michigan. That's a sales tactic. And I'm sure it's one he'll use, and it's one he should use.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.